Those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Welcome to Ask the Experts radio show, proudly sponsored by board-certified family law attorney Tina Lewert of Lewert Law, LLC. Sit back for the next half hour as host Steve-O interviews top experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Steve-O offers such educational topics as community association law, family law, chiropractic care, employment law, healthcare law, and public insurance adjusting. Interviews by top experts in their field. And now, here's your host, Steve-O.
Good evening. It seems like every time this hour of the day, we start getting thunder and thunderstorms. And I just looked at, because we do the Ask the Expert show in markets across the country, including South Texas and now Atlanta. But it looks like maybe, just maybe, we might be getting our first major hurricane. I don't know, it's still some time, but they got a name for it. It's Sam. And some of the lines are going towards us, but we'll see. But tonight's show is perfect for that. We are doing our show tonight on public insurance adjusters. And there's so many of you out there who do not know what a public insurance adjuster does. And if you've got leaks or if you've got fire and smoke damage, maybe your house was broken into, there's a lot of different areas. Maybe you've got mold. We have the expert, the top public insurance adjuster in South Florida, the Claim Squad Public Adjusters. Let me introduce you to our expert, his second time with us, Mike Keeler. Hi, Mike.
Good evening, Steve-O. How are you today?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly fine.
Good. So, man, I thought about you today when I saw this new hurricane, that a lot of the lines are going through South Florida, which we know that could change. But they're saying sometime next Monday or Tuesday. And I know you don't ever wish for that, but listen, there are people who do not understand what a public insurance adjuster does, because I think what you do is so important. So first of all, let's tell everybody about your company first and your background.
Sure. So I became a public adjuster after I did a few things within the insurance industry beforehand. So I had the opportunity to actually work for an insurance company. So I know the ins and outs, all the dirty tricks that they play with people, and essentially how they try to brainwash their employees into not only tricking people, but really offer them low payouts, convincing them why their claims should be denied. And then I went through, started becoming an independent adjuster. Then I became an expert in fire damage claims, to where attorneys would have me write reports, testify for them on fire damage claims. And then also after doing that and the independent adjuster, I then became a public adjuster. So I have a well-rounded background when it comes to anything in the insurance industry.
You've been on the other side also, basically.
I've been on the dark side, as we call it.
Okay.
And so we
And these people, Mike, these people who represent the insurance companies, they're very good at what they do.
no doubt about it, and they're trained. So there's certain training classes that they go through. They send a lot of their adjusters through roof damage training. So you mentioned the hurricane, which may or may not come our way. These adjusters are trained not only what to look for, but when you look for it and it is advantageous towards a homeowner or property owner that there's damage to the roof, you're trained on how to turn it around to say that it's wear and tear and not from a hurricane, tropical storm, hail, wherever the causation may be. So when they go through all this training, it depends on concrete tile, asphalt shingle tiles, clay tiles, metal roof. So they go through not necessarily training them on how to identify. It's more or less training them on how to find, I'll put this in layman's terms, an excuse not to find damage and blame it on other causes. So yeah, you hit the nail on the head. They are very well versed on how to get around things.
Well, I guess we should actually start off with the actual insurance policy. What are some tips you can give our listeners who are looking for new homeowners insurance policy? Because that's where the problems probably begin, people not really understanding their homeowners policy.
Boy, you hit the nail on the head there because we are dealing with a couple situations currently, me and the law firm that work together on a lot of these claims. I'll give you a specific example. So, my number one tip about 3 years ago, agents started to give people policies that had a water damage limit of $10,000 or water damage exclusion. So, what happens is, and Steve, you may or may not know you even have this on your policy. So if you had the same insurance company for 4, 5, 6 years, in the middle of that renewal, so when you see your policy numbers, at the end, there's always a 03, 06, 08. The numbers can vary. What that means is how many times you've renewed your policy with that company. So in the middle, one of my clients right now currently, she had a cast iron pipe break, and we got an award through an appraisal for $98,000. And without going into too many details, we found out when they started writing these new policies, so prior to this third renewal, we found out that she actually had no limitations of water damage. Somewhere in the middle when she was renewing it between, now this is her 7th renewal, between her first, when she first got the policy, and the other 6 renewals, they automatically changed her policy without her knowing. So she had a $10,000 water damage limit. She's like, Mike, I never knew I had this. So anyhow, we got down to the source and found out that they just put it in there and never informed her. So now what we're actually doing is suing the agent on what they call E&O. That's called errors and omissions. And so we're going to have to go about it that way. So my number one tip for people in Florida, when it comes to your insurance policy, whether you have one now, are shopping around, or maybe getting a new policy, is this. Make sure you tell your agent you do not want any water damage limit and or water damage exclusion. Make sure that your policy is free from those things. The other thing that's going on new, Steve-O, referencing this Hurricane Sam again. Insurance companies such as Progressive are not going to write a policy if your roof is more than 7 years old. Another company is not going to write a policy if your roof is older than 10 years old. So now they're starting this roof game and making it incredibly difficult for people to get insurance.
Mike, 7 years is not very long. How are they getting away with that?
So what happened was there were these new laws that were passed that started July 1st. And some of the wording and legislature that they previously had in it, in the bills, in both the House and the Senate in Florida, they wanted to give a depreciation model that's similar to what they have in Texas, which is essentially somewhere along the lines of after 10 years, the insurance company can advance and rapidly amount a figure for depreciation faster after that 10-year mark. So if your roof was 15 years, they would be able to depreciate it 50%. So if it cost you $30,000 to put on a new roof and it was 15 years old, the insurance company would only be on the hook for $15,000 less your deductible. Now, a lot of us have pretty high hurricane deductibles. For instance, I have about a $7,200 wind deductible, hurricane deductible. So if they're paying me $15,000 and half of that's going to deductible, $30,000 roof, they're only going to be liable for $7,000.
Wow.
So that didn't make it into these new laws, thankfully. Okay, that didn't make it into the new laws. So what the insurance company is doing to rival that, they're making their own policy rules, saying, okay, if we can't get the depreciation, we're just going to start telling people, if your roof is this year, however many years old, we're not going to give you the policy. So people are forced to go into companies like Citizens, which is a state-run insurance company through the state of Florida, which happens to be, if not the worst, they're either number one or number two, along with another company, for a lot of reasons, which I won't get into. So to give you an idea, Citizens last year had about 430,000 policies. And most of these customers are people that can't get other insurance, are in areas where they can't find insurers to insure them, or they've been dropped by their insurance company that they currently have. This year, it's unheard of. This year, Citizens has said they're on the pace to do over 800,000 policies.
Why so much higher?
Double compared to last year. Because this year, so far in 2021, everybody is getting dropped by their insurance carriers. Some companies have decided that they don't want to insure people in Florida anymore. So we're looking at an artificial crisis, and there's no more claims or less claims than what they had previously in years. As a matter of fact, if Sam doesn't hit us, Steve, we're on pace to have much lower claims than what we did in the past.
Right.
So you're going to have years where you have a year or two where you have more hurricane and more claims in general because of hurricanes. But then you have a bunch of years where you really don't have any hurricanes. So it kind of all evens out as far as the revenues that the insurance company collects. But you don't hear when there's no storms, they get to keep all those premiums. They only cry and complain when there's a hurricane and they have to pay out.
Well, Mike, we're going to go to break. God, I've literally got thousands of questions for you. You are without a doubt. Like I said, I've done other public adjusters around the country. I got to tell you, not only are you probably the most knowledgeable, but you also explain everything where people can understand. Give everybody your phone number.
Sure. It's 754-252-5438.
And I got to tell you something. Do me a favor. Write this number down because you never know when you're going to need it. 754-252-5438. The name of the company is Claim Squad Public Adjusters. We're going to go to break. We'll be right back with Mike Keeler.
Stop trying to fight with your homeowner insurance company when you have accrued damages. Their job is to pay you the least amount possible. This is why you need the Claim Squad Public Adjusters, owned and operated by Mike Keeler. Mike is a public adjuster in Florida who helps families with their property damage insurance claims. When you work with Mike, you can take comfort knowing he will help prevent the insurance company from taking advantage of you. They help families whose homes are damaged by pipe breakage, roof leaks, storms, air condition leaks, fire, rain, tornadoes, hurricanes, and vandalism. Like Mike always says, he promises to help you in every possible way to get the best settlement for your property damage claim. He enjoys helping people fight the insurance companies because he disagrees with how they treat property owners. Mike is here to do things the right way and help you the best he can. Mike guarantees you he will be honest with you, understanding, and helpful. Call Claim Squad Public Insurance Adjusters today at 754-252-5438. We are back now with more of the Ask the Experts radio show, proudly sponsored by board-certified family law attorney Tina Lewert of Lewert Law LLC, covering South Florida.
Hey, we are back. This is the Ask the Expert show. We're with you every Thursday from 6 to 7 during drive time. We have some of South Florida's finest experts in legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Tonight, we're talking about public insurance adjusters. We have the name of the company is called the Claim Squad Public Adjusters. We're here with the owner of the company, Mike Keeler. Before I go, I want to talk about when a claim is denied, but I think people, one of the things they're going to be really surprised at is tell people how you charge.
Sure. Great question, Steve. So much like personal injury attorneys, we are based on a contingent fee factor. So people do not have and should not pay any public adjuster up front, any money. There's no fees. Now, the state actually mandates our fees. So unlike attorneys, we can't have any control on what we charge. So in the state of Florida, I give you an example. When there's an emergency that's declared, our fees can only be 10%. What's an emergency type situation? A hurricane. You may have some times where it's a tropical storm. Maybe if there's flooding in a bad area or a bad county. Everything else we can charge up to 20%. A lot of times I work with people depending on their situation, and we'll charge 15 and not 20. So people should know that even though the most they can charge is 20, you can still negotiate with that individual. But most importantly, you want to make sure it's a good public adjuster. Just don't chase the fee, because a good public adjuster will make up any difference of those fees and what they get for you in return on settlement. So the public adjusters only get paid when they recover any monies on your behalf and at that particular time.
Mike, you explained something last time that I've never heard anybody explain. So let's say they retain you. It's not going to cost them anything to sit down with you, and you get them a certain amount of money. But after they pay you, then they don't have enough money. How does that work?
So the majority of times people actually end up in a better situation and they end up with a few dollars in their pocket. Here's the reason why. So when we come out there and we do our estimates, some of the things that we take in consideration is damages which the insured may not know they have. Water damage, as you were talking about during our last meeting with that your sister-in-law had, where she got quite a bit from a public adjuster. When you do write these estimates, you know what you need to write, and there's additional factors that come into play. It's not just simply like a general contractor who comes in and he says, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, well, this is going to cost $12,000 to fix the drywall in your living room and the ceiling. We go in there, we take a look at all that, and we also see, is there a possibility of water that leaked from the ceiling in that other side of the drywall? So that same $12,000 that general contractor estimated, our estimate might be $26,000. And there's a lot of reasons why we do that, which I won't go into much detail.
No, I understand.
Generally, there's 4 goals that I have for everybody. It's quite simple. Number 1, I want to make sure that anything they need to have repaired, rebuilt, replaced, gets done so from the money of the settlement. Number 2, I try to get their deductible either waived or included in the settlement. Number 3, I want to make for sure that my fees are also included that settlement.
Right.
And then most importantly, number 4 is nothing comes out of their pocket. And I would say the majority of times people are left with a little golden nugget at the end that they can do whatever they please with.
Yeah, I think the
At the end of
listeners
these settlements.
understand that.
Yeah.
So when do they wait? Do they file the claim, and do people wait till they're denied before they hire you?
So people do a variety of things. Some of them want to have that person up front right away once they file a claim, so that they don't say the wrong thing, or when they come for the inspection, the insurance company, that they do everything accordingly, or that they don't have to give a recorded statement, and again, maybe tell them different dates when things probably didn't happen that certain way. Other people may wait till they're denied because, as we talked about in the last show a little bit, this is the do-it-yourself age, right? So everybody wants to
Yeah.
be an attorney, everybody wants to be a doctor, everybody wants to self-diagnose and do things themselves. And I trust my insurance company; they'll take care of me.
Right.
And on the other side, I can tell you, since I worked that part of on that side of the fence, you rub your hands as an insurance adjuster for the insurance company and say, boy, I got me a good one here. And so I probably get 50% of my claims from people that have been denied. And then the other 50% that they want from the start of the claim. Couple here and there that got a little bit of money and knows that they got shortchanged, and then would want to get additional monies from the insurance company because they weren't paid properly or fully from when they tried to originate the claim themselves.
So, to me, it's from what you're saying, the best thing to do is, instead of trying to save yourself some money, you think you are, that they need to hire you right away. First of all, they don't say the wrong thing, and they don't have to worry about talking to the insurance company.
That's correct. And I think probably it also depends on the amount of damage that you have. If you have a little claim that's, say, a couple thousand to up to maybe $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, then I think you could try and handle it yourself, right? I think once you go past that $10,000 barrier, now there's all kinds of different factors that come into play, which is you got to talk to the adjuster. They may want to take a recorded statement. Well, what I do with my clients, I prep them. If we have to go ahead and give the insurance company a recorded statement, I prep them before to let them know when we role play what questions to expect. Obviously, I know I've done this for a while. Number two, we want to make sure that they have the estimate from the right people. Number three, I think the biggest factor that is sometimes not highly looked at is the individual that owns a property is emotionally attached to that.
Right.
So your emotions get the better of you at times. I can't tell you when I worked for the other side, for the insurance company, how many times I got cussed at and hung up on, right? And so it's always better if you have a professional, I believe, that can do the speaking for you, that knows the ins and the outs, because then you will then be prepared to understand from that professional what is the best way to handle this claim moving forward, what the insurance company is saying, and it puts you at calm. So many people do get a little emotionally overdone when it comes to these type of claims because your house is screwed up and you want it repaired.
Well, this has been such a fast 30 minutes. We've got a minute left. Mike, tell everybody why they should retain you for their public insurance adjuster.
Sure. Well, I think not only because of the background that I have, we're doing this before, but I really, whenever you contact me, you contact me. I am the CEO, the owner, the secretary, and the note taker, and the person that you can cry and complain to. So that goes a long way. So I'm always answering my phone. And I have a great reputation with a lot of attorneys that I work with because I had to do a lot of stuff for them when they needed somebody to be an expert. And I'm certified in so many different areas, and I have experience not only in the roof damage claims, but water damage, fire damage claims. And so I always put my clients first. I have a YouTube channel where there's a lot of self-help guides on there, what to expect with claims. There you can find that on the Claim Squad Public Adjusters on YouTube. And there's probably 50 or 60 different videos, everything from what to do when your claim's been denied to the 5 best insurance companies in Florida to the 5 worst insurance companies in Florida. So those are just some of the reasons, Steve, why if people have any type of claim and they're curious, they could always just give me a call and I'd be willing to talk with them.
Give everybody your phone number.
It's 754-252-5438.
Listen, you're be back again with us next month. Let's hope we don't get hit by this hurricane. I love doing the show with you. It's probably one of the easiest shows I have. Again, the name of the company is the Claim Squad Public Adjusters. Mike Keeler, 754-252-5438. And we're going to go to break. When we come back, we are going to be doing our real estate show with attorney Gaines. Thanks, Mike, and we'll be right back.
Steve, great talking with you. Thank you.